there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney Bundles, and today's video I'm going to be answering a question that I commonly get. And the question is, if I use PayPal for my business, will PayPal hold my funds? I get this question very often because I've talked so much on this channel about why I use PayPal as my primary payment vendor, or not vendor, but payment method. And, the benefits that PayPal has for my business and also other businesses that I'm working with. And also, I talk about how secure PayPal is in my experience. So that poses a lot of questions because some people that get onto PayPal, they, have different experiences based on their account and based on their circumstances surrounding their account. And I'm going to get into what I mean in just a moment. But I went ahead and I pulled up an article through PayPal so that I can answer this question the most efficient, effective way. And so that's what I'm going to be going over today in this video. If you are interested, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So I do want to say this, if you ever have any questions about what payment merchant or what payment method or which payment provider or option you want to use for your business, I always recommend going to the payment merchant that you are interested in using and reading about it. Just making sure that you're completely okay with the functionality and their terms of service for your business, because what I may be okay with, you may not, and vice versa. So it's very important that we always go and read through what it is we are looking to do for our business. I would not have used PayPal if I did not read it thoroughly first before enabling PayPal. The same with Sezzle. I also accept buy now, pay later options through my website. My website is going to be down below if you want to take a look at it. It's badchickhair.com, but I do use Sezzle as well. And the same with Sezzle. I had to go back through and read all of the fine print to make sure that this was a payment method that I wanted to offer on my business that was going to work well for not only my customers, but also for my business and for my personal preferences as well. So the first thing that I want to get into is, why are my funds inaccessible or on hold? So it says PayPal may place a hold or restrict your account activity if we need a little more information from you about a transaction, your business, or your account activity. Some of the reasons why we might need this information include: you're a first-time seller. So when you're a new PayPal seller, it takes time to build up enough history to demonstrate a pattern of positive buyer-seller transactions. The good news is you can usually move out of this status by confirming your identity and building up a history of positive selling activity. The next reason is you haven't sold in a while. So when your selling activity has been dormant for a long time, it'll also take time to rebuild a history of positive buyer-seller transactions. And then another reason is multiple customers filed a refund, dispute, or chargeback. If multiple customers file for a refund, dispute, or chargeback, it can delay the availability of your funds. The best way to resolve this is to work directly with your customers to prevent or solve disputes and chargebacks. Sometimes it's possible your customer filed a refund, dispute, or chargeback because someone illegally used their PayPal account to buy something, We ask that you hold off on shipping any items when this happens. And then another reason is your selling pattern appears unusual or changed. And unusual sales activity includes a recent spike in sales or a change in your average selling price, business platform, or type of item being sold. And then the other reason that they list is you're selling higher risk items. Higher risk items can include tickets, gift cards, consumer electronics, computers, and travel packages. You can also read our user agreement for more information on other holds and reserves we may place on your account. So pretty much in a nutshell, this is why I can't give just a yes/no answer as to why, if PayPal is going to hold your funds or not. It really depends on the circumstance of your specific account and what's going on with your business. I don't have too many experiences where PayPal has held my funds. Maybe in the beginning, however, I've been selling for more than a few years. So honestly, I can't remember if the first transaction that I got was on hold or not. But typically, every time I get a transaction through PayPal, the funds are immediately deposited. Now, if they are not deposited in your account, if they're on hold for any reason, then I would refer back to this information that is found on paypal.com that we just went over to see if, you're experiencing one of the 5 options that they placed down. So if you just started a company and if you have not had any transactions through your PayPal store, or maybe you've had a few transactions, it may be quite likely that PayPal would hold some funds to make sure that everything's legitimate. Also, if you're typically selling, items for $5 and all of a sudden you start getting payments for $500, that may also cause PayPal to place a hold on your account until they verify some information. So if you do have any questions, what I recommend doing is contacting PayPal. I've never had any issues where I've had a question with PayPal and they weren't able to answer it. I've never had any experiences with PayPal where they stole or took any money. I know some people have posted on social media that, hey, PayPal took my money. I've never had that experience. I don't really know what their specific situation was or what happened, but a lot of times I think a lot of disputes and confusion boil down to pretty much just confusion, you not understanding what's going on with your store and not being able to get the help or your questions answered. So the first thing that I would recommend doing, like I mentioned, is always reading through. First, read through their policies and even Google, Google PayPal funds on hold if you have a question. And I'm sure this information is going to pop up. Take a look and see if any of these examples apply to you. And if they do, then that gives you a better understanding and you can kind of make an assumption as to what's going on with your funds. But, these are the standard reasons as to why. Also, there's another question, and the question says, how long will PayPal hold your funds for? And they answer by saying your funds are usually held for up to 21 days. However, there are several things you can do to expedite this timeline. You can also read our user agreement for more information on other holds and reserves we may place on your account. And then they go down. We're going to scroll down a little bit because they're going to continue talking about how you can look to maybe expedite the funds, the hold that are on your funds. I do want to say when you are starting a business, just from experience and just to give some advice, you do want to make sure that you have some money available for cash flow, whether you're a brick and mortar location or whether you're not. For example, if I get an order today and the order is placed through Sezzle, I'm automatically knowing that I'm not going to get the funds today. So I still have funds available in my business account so that if I need to be able to purchase something, or if I need to be able to restock inventory, or if I need to be able to purchase more branding items, or if I need to be able to pay for shipping to ship out my existing orders, I'll be able to do that without necessarily hawking this order that I just got. So it's really important to make sure that when we go into business, we go in it knowing that there's a possibility, if you are using any payment method, that you may not get your funds immediately the next day, or any payment merchant. This is not an uncommon practice. I was using a completely different payment merchant when I was running my salon, when we were taking credit and debit cards. And even with that merchant that I was using, the funds were not available immediately the next day. So in my experience, PayPal has been the only merchant that I've worked with where funds have been available the very next day. Now, again, I have not worked with a lot of merchants just because I chose not to. And, before I decide to work with a merchant, everything has to map out. So sometimes, just reading the terms and the conditions and the user agreement would turn me off. It would automatically X certain merchants out of my option list because I'm only going with merchants that, number one, for the dispute process, it's fair. I was working with other merchants before as well, and the dispute process was not fair. I would find myself in positions where customers would purchase things and they would go ahead and, dispute the transaction, and automatically the funds were right out of my account and back into theirs. And that's something that I didn't like. I'm like, this is not fair. Now the funds are gone, my product's gone, and, I'm sitting here, and they did have a process where you can upload proof and evidence. And after you do all that, it's like you still were in this limbo stage with nothing, So in my opinion, a lot of merchants are not fair to both parties involved. They're either favoring one party or the other. And so when I decided what payment methods I was going to use, I had to make sure that the dispute process was going to be fair to not only me, to my clients, but ultimately a fair platform for both of us. I want my customers and clients to feel comfortable purchasing from me, knowing that we're going through a secure avenue. And I also want to feel safe shipping out my products, knowing that, okay, these are standard rules set in place and we're all going to have to play according to the rules. And it's going to be fair all the way around. So it does say what you can do to access your money sooner. Assuming there are no issues with the order, you may be able to expedite the release of temporarily unavailable funds sooner than the scheduled 21 days by taking any of these actions from your PayPal account. So it says action, print a USPS or UPS shipping label 1 day after delivery. This will automatically update your tracking information and delivery confirmation. You can add tracking information 1 day after delivery with supported carriers. Upload a supported carrier's tracking number. PayPal will release the payment within 3 days of the carrier confirming delivery. And then they also go down and I think I just scrolled down, past it a little fast, but they also list the carriers that they support. How can you prevent the delay of available funds? There are 4 things you can do to help prevent a delay of available funds in the future. Number 1, review the email we send and the alert in your account overview. So that's one thing that I do want to point out with PayPal. PayPal is really good with keeping you up to date. If I get an order, I'm going to get a notification from PayPal as well. So in addition to getting my notification from Shopify, side note, if you're not using Shopify, click the link down below. There may be a free trial for you to get started, but you have to click the link to see. But not only am I getting notifications from Shopify, but I'm also going to be notified through PayPal. Also, it says if a buyer pays you and the payment isn't immediately available, we'll notify you via an email titled an important message about your PayPal balance or via an alert in your account overview page. This email or alert will be the best source of information about why your payment isn't available and what you may be able to do to prevent the delay of available funds in the future. And then number 3, prevent refunds, disputes, and chargebacks by setting yourself up for success by posting actual photos and detailed, accurate descriptions of items so buyers know exactly what they're getting, being clear about shipping and handling time, costs and methods, process orders promptly to avoid delays, packaging items carefully with appropriate quality packaging or packing material so customers receive the items in good condition, uploading tracking information of our supported carriers or printing a USPS/UPS shipping label through PayPal, clearly defining your return policy up front to avoid problems later. It also goes over communicate and work with your customers. When customers do contact you, do your best to be responsive and helpful. Working with customers early on can prevent a minor issue from ballooning into a much larger problem. And following the guidelines listed previously will help to reduce the number of buyer disputes, claims, and chargebacks. If you are involved in a buyer dispute, start working to resolve it right away. Frequent, honest, and open communication with the buyer via the resolution center can help clear up any misunderstanding. And then it says 5, set up a customer service message. So also setting up a customer service message in the resolution center may help to prevent disputes. For example, if shipments will be delayed because of a hurricane in your region, letting the buyer know may answer their question and make a dispute unnecessary. So pretty much just to sum all that up, like we talk about in a lot of videos, set the right expectation on your website before you even open up shop, before you even publish that your website is ready to or active for shoppers or anything like that. Make sure that you do have clear information for your customers as far as the return policy. Do you accept returns? Do you don't? As far as your exchange policy, does the package need to be intact for them to be able to exchange? I sell hair extensions, so are you going to accept hair extensions that have already been worn? I hope not. I can't really get into anybody's business because I'm not in control of your business, but I hope not. But I'm just saying, you have to list that information down. You have to be very direct and clear about what you are offering. That way it does truly cut down on confusion. And that way it does help if you do come into a situation where you're in a dispute, it definitely helps to win the disputes because you can go back and show, okay, this is what I have on my website. This is what I presented. This is my policy. This is what my customer consented to before processing the order. So you just want to make sure everything is in line. It's going to clear up so much confusion. So I really hope that this video helped answer the question of, is PayPal going to hold my funds or not? Pretty much it just depends on the circumstance. But in my experience, no, everything's typically fine. And I really enjoy working with PayPal. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.